Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light and Backstage Pass members, YouTube Live members, Facebook Live members, everybody in our Inspire Nation community. Welcome to your Ask Michael Anything weekly show every Wednesday evening at approximately 7:11 Eastern Time. Tonight, I want to talk with you about manifestation. And Jessica and I have a big move coming up. We have a move end of April, going to be out to Colorado. And it's been interesting in that we're moving an area to an area, part of the country, where it could be challenging to find a place to live. It could be challenging to find a place, unless you're a billionaire, where we're looking to live, somewhere in the Roaring Forks Valley or up towards Aspen. And so people have challenged us and said, or a few people have said, why are you considering it? Why would you think about this area? And what comes to mind is that we're not necessarily operating, and all of us, yourselves included, especially you, we're not operating solely on a here in the physical plane arena. It truly is as above, so below. What you put out there on the highest level is what you project and bring about down here. In essence, what you see in the pond of life is a reflection of what's going on up above. So right now we're living in this amazing place called Emerald Isle, which is the southernmost barrier island in North Carolina. And last year we're trying to figure out where we're going to go. It's springtime. We'd been living with Jessica's family so that she could heal. She was now fully better. It was time to move on. And her parents' home was going up for sale. So it was time to move on. And we thought about it and thought about it and thought about it and could not figure out with our heads, where in the world to move. And so we were writing about this on a daily basis. We wanted a place that had water. We wanted a place where we could kayak and swim out our back door. We wanted a place that was quieter, had a different energy to it. We're looking at the map all across the country. We're trying to figure this out, note head. But we were also doing the work in automatic writing, in putting things out there in prayer, and doing what I'm going to talk with you in a couple minutes about, the whoo-whoo 8. And in doing these exercises, something special happened. We were at a burrito shack one day, and we go into the burrito shack after a run, and I said to Jessica, I'm like, we can't figure our way out of this. What it's really going to take is literally the phone ringing and somebody saying, this is where you want to go. And the wild thing is, only 2 hours later, the phone call came in with a dear friend and former client of ours saying, this is where you want to go. And here we are on Emerald Isle. We live in a magical, magical universe. Years ago, before we moved to Tues, New Mexico, Jessica had been exploring down there and with a friend on a trip through the Southwest. She came back up to Boulder, Colorado, and she told me, Michael, we're moving to Tues. And then she goes, well, more specifically, I'm moving to Tues. You can come with me if you'd like. But we needed a change. She was right, and Tues felt so perfect to her. So we went down to Tues to check it out, to see about finding a place to rent. We got onto the Tues Pueblo, which is these ancient adobe clay-like homes from 1,000, if not more than 1,000 years ago, built into the hillside by the Native Americans. It's a rainstorm there. We go into a jewelry store. We're looking at little knickknacks. We head out into the rain, and then we make a sprint for the nearest storefront that's open. It turns out to be a shop of a flautist, a Grammy Award-winning musician by the name of Robert Mirabal. In fact, check out his video online of Robert Mirabal and John Tesh and the music they made together on a mesa in Utah, where they were dropped off on top of this mesa with a grand piano by helicopter. Drop dead gorgeous. So we're in this place with Robert Mirabal. He looks us up and down and he goes, are you guys runners? And we're kind of dressed in running gear. We look like runners. And he's like, come back here. And he takes us to the back of his shop, all the way to the very, very back, where he's got this sewing machine set up. He's got some leather spread out. We had just finished our book tour on barefoot running. And I had been looking for ancient type Native American moccasins that people had run across the plains for good thousands of years on. And there's pictures in this book called Native, I think it was Native Running, from a running race that was done like in the 1930s. And all these black and white images of Native Americans running both barefoot and in these moccasins. And Robert Mirabal calls us to the back of his store. He says, come back here. Brings us to the back to the sewing machine. And he pulls out a pair of these ancient style Native American moccasins that I had been looking for years. And he says, I live in a magical universe. I called you here. We all live in this magical universe. We can all call into our lives almost whatever we desire. Moving to Aspen, something miraculous is going to happen. And I put, for our highest good, the highest good are all, or something better. Maybe it's not Aspen. Maybe it's Carbondale. Maybe it's Glenwood Springs. Maybe it's someplace completely different that we can't imagine. But we put the energy out there. We ask, we believe it, we see it, we feel it. We give it up to a higher power or to our higher intuition deep inside of us. And we allow for it to happen. So Napoleon Hill, he talks about writing out in his book Think and Grow Rich and some of his other books. He talks about writing out on a daily basis or putting it out on an index card what you want to bring about in life and then reading it back to yourself 3 times a day. I like that. I tend to take things a step further, kind of a big step because I see it as all energy. And I have what's called my whoo-whoo 8, my woohoo! that I write out each and every day. I call it a woohoo 8 because to bring things about in this plane, we need to bring up to this plane as much energy as we possibly can. So each morning after I've done my automatic writing, and maybe I'll have time to tell you a little bit more about, we've got our program coming up live in just a few weeks, or going live in just a few weeks on automatic writing. But after I'm done with my automatic writing, I go into my woohoo 8. And in 8 different categories, I write about what I'd like to bring about in life, how I'd like to see it, and most importantly, the energy behind it. So, for instance, I'll write about financial wealth. So I write about wealth in 8 different categories, basically. You can call it the woohoo wealth 8. How to be wealthy in 8 different areas of your life. So first off, there's the financial category. And I write about where I see us now, where I see us in the future, how I see things going, how I see us at the bottom of a hockey puck going up exponentially as we're able to get onto an Oprah network or an Amazon network or a Netflix network, and how this absolutely takes off. How does it get any better than this? I see what the numbers are now. I see what they are in the future. And by the time I'm done writing this, I'm going, woohoo! And I tend to steal Dane Heer's line, an amazing author, how does it get any better than this? Then I go on to our physical wealth, which is how healthy we are, how our teeth are, how I'm running like the wind, how Jessica is so incredibly healthy for baby number 1 and baby number 2, how healthy and happy our kitty cats are, how much energy we have, how healthy our parents are in our lives, how I'm racing again and setting records and running on top of the mountains. How does it get any better than this? And I write it all out just like I'm speaking right now with all this energy and excitement, and finish off again with another woohoo! And then I go on to time wealth. And these are my categories. You can come up with your own. For me, time wealth is the next one that I come up with. And oftentimes the order shifts around a bit. But I don't want us just to be abundant in terms of physical wealth, abundance in terms of being able to help others, abundance in terms of our spiritual wealth. But I want the time wealth to enjoy it. I want the time wealth to be able to spend with my family, to be able to spend with the kitty cats, to spend with Jessica, to spend with our future kids, to spend with our spiritual practices, to spend learning from great masters. I don't want to be go, 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 go. So I write out not the I don't want to be's. I write out what time wealth looks to me, what it feels like, picturing being at a retreat, being on top of a mountain, driving around an RV, and not needing to be someplace right away, but instead truly being here now. I write, of course, at the end of it, how does it get any better than this? Woohoo! And then it's on to the next category, which for us is moving and creating a beautiful homestead for ourselves. So it is home and moving wealth. What the home looks like in Aspen, what it feels like, what the view is, how I have that upstairs studio with an incredible view, how we can walk behind us almost to the hills, and just down the road is where we can hit the slopes, or where I can be running up and down the hills and the trails and running almost my legs off in a positive way. About how clean and how prosperous the house makes us feel, how there's so much space for the kitty cats to run, how there's room for us to have our own place to do work, so that my energy isn't overfloweth onto everyone and everything around me. And I write this out with as much detail and as much excitement as I possibly can, and then I move on to the next category, which is intellectual property or products or business wealth. What are we putting out there to the world? And so I write about our books, I write about our programs, I write about the things that I don't even know will come about, but when I'm in the creative flow, how they're going to take place. And then it's a how does it get any better than this? And a woohoo! Again, I do the same for family. Just so important to me. Not just time wealth, but those rich moments together. What that looks like, what that feels like, how I'm there for our child's birth, first steps, first teeth, first trips, first everything, because that matters most. And how we all travel together as a family, travel to the occasional events, travel to Europe, travel to meet indigenous grandmas and grandpas, and how we do this all as a family, because it's truly family first. Then I dive into the spiritual wealth, because without that, for me, I don't believe I have anything, because it all comes from our spiritual wealth. So I have more time. I see myself having more time to dive into my practice. See me going to retreats. See me working with drums, with shamanism, with focusing on the energy and feeling the energy moving through our bodies, and working on and tantra and all these magical practices to dive more into my spirituality, and see me developing more of an intimate relationship with angels, with guides, or just with that small, still voice inside of me, and hearing that voice even more clearly. And then I go on to outreach, or the wealth of helping to change the world, because truly we're helping to raise the consciousness of the planet. If you're listening to this, you are working to raise the consciousness of the planet as well. So a mighty woohoo is sent your way. And so I write all about this as well. Now you'll notice there are lots of overlaps here. That's great, because this is an interwoven story or lattice or quilt work that you're making of your life. Sew the quilt, make it rich, give it meaning, have it be 3 dimensions, 4th dimension, spiritual, 5 dimensions. Have such a richness and texture to it that by the time you're writing this each morning, you are on cloud 9, you are on fire. You put this energy out to the universe, and you as well will be living in a magical world. Then I challenge you, midday or evening, review your woohoo 8. You don't need to write it out again, though you could. But for me, it's actually quite a lengthy process, 10, 20, 30 minutes. If I'm in a hurry, I can whip through it in maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but I want to take the time. I want to get myself in this space. I don't need to be working 24/7 to bring in wealth on all these categories. I need to be in the energetic flow to bring it about. So that 10, 20, or 30 minutes in the morning, that brings about magic. Magic is a tweet heard round the world that all of a sudden the show goes from huge to phenomenal, or a phenom takes place because of a tweet heard round the world, or an investor that calls up, or something else that happens completely out of the blue that couldn't have taken place just by putting one foot in front of the other. Instead, I needed to invest in the magic, or hop to the other side of the veil, hop to the as above, so below, and do the alchemy work there. That's what law of attraction really is. That's what alchemy is all about. That's what magic is really all about. Is it's bringing the energy to something up on the other side of the veil, and attracting down to your life here in this physical plane something even greater than you could ever have imagined or ever could have achieved by just putting one foot in front of the other, and we are all capable of this. So, with that said, going to open it up to some questions here. Thank you so much for joining me. I challenge you to start your own woohoo hate. It can be my categories. It can certainly be all your categories. The most important thing is what feels good and what feels right to you. Last thing I have on it, when you start attracting these things into your life, whether it's health, wealth, time, spirituality, a new place, a new job, a new partner, whatever it is, write us, tell us about it, share your stories. And of course, a shameless plug, share this with those you love as well so that they can manifest and create too. We truly are living in a magical world and a magical universe. All right, with that said, Jessica is a little under the weather tonight, so we're going to try to keep it nice and light and easy on her. So I can even read these out loud if you need me to. What's best here?
First, we've got a question from just a really quick clarification for
Yes.
Romy watching on Facebook, who asks, so 8 things by 8 or just 2 things by 8?
8 things by 8. Hi, Romy. I'm not sure the meaning of the question, but the woohoo 8 means pick 8 categories in your life and go after it in whatever you would categorize as the 8 top categories. Now, sometimes it actually spills into a 9th category for me, and I often go beyond the 8 and weave this whole kind of lattice together or build a story of all of it. 8 is a magical number to me. It's infinity on its side. It's very spiritual. It's a loop that continues onwards, and there's a special energy to that. However, if you only come up with a 2 to begin with, if you come up with a 6, if you come up with a 7, if you come up with a 9, it's all about the energies you bring to it. I love 8. I think it's a very, very powerful number. But for instance, if you want to start in 2 areas of your life, such as health and abundance, go for it. That's perfect too. Thank you, Romy.
Okay. Second question from Romy is, I want to attract a new place or being able to renew my lease. What can I do?
Okay, great question, Romy. You want to attract a new place or renew your lease. Each morning, I would write out what you would like to happen, how you would feel if the lease is renewed or if a magical new place is there, what experiences would occur. You can even write out your picturing yourself jumping for joy as this takes place. Notice I'm closing my eyes. I'm going into that visualization. I'm seeing, if I'm Romy, wow, the lease has just been renewed. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? You're dancing a little jig. You're running around your place. Or you just found an even better place, which is just what you dreamed or hoped for. How does it get any better than this? I would also put out there in your manifestation work that this is what I want, to renew my lease or to have another place appear that's even better. And I always add the lines at the end, for my highest good, for the highest good of all, or something better. That allows the universe to step in and offer you something you couldn't even have imagined. Emerald Isle is an absolutely stunningly beautiful place. However, we never, ever in a million years would have thought of it had we not said, or something better, and been open. On top of this, prayer is powerful. We are surrounded by so much goodness and love and support. It's hard to even imagine how much we are supported and loved. So, put it out there. Ask for it. Pray about it. Say archangels. Say God. Say love. Say life. Say inner wisdom. Please help bring this about for me. I'm doing the work. I'm stepping forward. Please help me. Absolutely ask. Then on top of it, I just said, I'm doing the work, I'm stepping forward. Take those steps. Prayer is phenomenal. Woohoo 8 is phenomenal. But then you get to step forward as well. Make phone calls. Take a look. Put yourself out there. Manifestation is truly a 2-step dance. You do your part, universe does its part. You don't have to find the perfect place. Just start looking. You don't have to, something to do with renew the lease, but start asking questions. When you shift that energy and you put yourself more in the driver's seat, but open for universe co-pilot to step in, the magic takes place. The story I like to use, and I always butcher this, but bear with me, I'll do the best I can with it, which is there's a flood coming, and so everybody's evacuating, and there's one gentleman who stays in his house, and a boat comes up and says, do you need to be rescued? There's floodwaters here. And he says, no, I prayed to God. God will take care of me. I'll be fine. And the boat goes away. And then a bigger boat comes by and says, do you want to go with us? We can get you out of here. And he goes, no, I prayed to God. I have faith. I'll be fine. And so they leave. And then a helicopter comes by and throws down a rope ladder and says, this is your last chance. If you don't grab the rope, and at this point he's on the roof, you're going to drown. And he goes, no, I prayed to God. I have faith. It's going to work out. Then he drowns. He gets up to heaven. He goes to St. Peter at the pearly gates. And he goes, why didn't God save me? And he goes, what do you mean God didn't save you? God gave you a small boat, a bigger boat, and then a helicopter. But you never grabbed on. That's the two-step dance. So take those steps forward, Romy. Do the manifestation work. Do prayer. Do intention. Do your woohoo 8. See yourself. Feel yourself. Believe yourself there. And before you go to bed each night, put yourself in your new place or see yourself kicked back on the bed, arms behind my head, going to sleep, going, the lease has been renewed. The weight has been taken off of me. How does it get any better than this? And go to sleep with that in your mind and, more importantly, in your heart. Beautiful question, and may your lease be renewed, or you find a new place, or something even better.
Can I have you try looking at the second camera below that big one?
I would love to, but I need to know where it is. Is this? Aha. I can do that. And in fact, what I'm going to do here, there. Now I can look a little better at it. How does that look?
Much better for the viewers on YouTube. But it still looks okay for Facebook.
All right.
All right, cool. Our next question is from Lisa watching on YouTube.
Hi, Lisa.
She writes, I've been looking for a new job and few opportunities have come my way, but I'd rather work for myself and invest in real estate. Getting a new, better job is out of fear. Mm-hmm. How do I get universe to step in and support my true desires ASAP?
Okay, please repeat that whole question one more time.
Do you want to just read it here?
Yes, let's do that. I've been looking for a new job and few opportunities have come my way, but I'd rather work for myself and invest in real estate. Getting even new, better job is out of fear. How do I get universe to step in? Oftentimes, Lisa, it's a brilliant question. It is baby steps, and it is doing both things simultaneously. So as you put yourself forward, for instance, doing real estate training, dabbling in real estate, taking real estate courses, reading about real estate, that is ways that you're stepping forward. Doing some interning with real estate, shadowing somebody in real estate, doing informational interviews where you call somebody up and you say, can I talk with you and take you out for lunch for an hour and learn about how to do real estate? All of these are powerful energy shift for the universe saying that you're ready. At the same time, you can still be doing your job. That's your, as Lisa Nichols likes to call it, your investor in your future. You can still be doing your same job, but you're also investing time on the other side. When I look at switching professions, it often, not always, but it often takes, unless the resources are there, putting in some extra time on the side. So it could be getting up an hour or two early and having an hour or two of your day. I truly believe in front loading. Oh, looking at the wrong camera. I truly believe in front loading. So put the exercise on the early side of the day because at the end of the day you're too exhausted. But consider this. You could put a plaque on your door. You can create a business card. You can have a name for your real estate business and basically clock into your business each day at 6, 7 o'clock. And take an hour or two for your new business. Take it, treating it as if the money is already coming in, as if you've already incorporated. Heck, you could buy a URL. They're $1.99 to $9.99. Set up a little shell of a website. It's not fake it till you make it. It's making it so that you make it. Build these things, set that energy shift in motion, and work for yourself an hour or two a day, and then work for yourself one more day over the weekend, half a day. It doesn't have to be the whole day. And set things in motion. Now, if the resources are there, then it becomes a different story. At some point, it takes leaping and looking for the wings to grow on the way down. That's kind of the term out of Silicon Valley, which is step off the cliff and grow the wings, or assemble the wings on the way down. At some point, you get to take that leap. But I'm a true believer in setting up everything you can in advance before you take that step. But at some point, you get to go for it. With real estate, it can be a little bit trickier, which is why I want you to do your homework and set things up in advance. But every single morning when you punch the clock for your new job for Lisa Real Estate Inc., do your manifestation work. Do your woohoo 8. Put it out there. See what it looks like. See what it feels like. See how it starts. And check out our work on automatic writing here coming up in a couple weeks. And start asking yourself, what are the first steps I take? What's the most important thing that I do now? And every day when you punch that clock, know one thing you're going to do to help move the needle forward. You do not need to know the whole path or whole plan to get to Shangri-La. All you need to know is how to put one foot in front of the other, and things will become clearer over time. Then I would pray, ask for guidance, and all day, every day, I would be thinking, imagining, and feeling this new business absolutely positively taking off. Sort of like I am going around going, I can't wait to get to Colorado. I know what it feels like. I know what the trails feel like. How does it get any better than this? In my mind, I'm already there now. I call that the future present, which means I'm doing so much visualization in the present for the future. It's not that I'm not present. It's not that I'm not enjoying the moment and being here now. But I'm seeing the future as if it is here now. And that is literally transforming the future. So brilliant question. Thanks so much for asking, Lisa. And keep up the great work. I'm going to, I think, angle the camera down slightly. What do you think on Facebook here? Am I looking good?
Angle it down. You should try.
Let's see if we can try this just a little bit. Because I'm still finding myself looking at the YouTube camera, or the Facebook camera. Okay. Who do we have next?
Let's see. Luchetta on Facebook writes, actually she wrote from Lucy, I'm still grieving the loss of a loved one and I haven't moved past the sorrow yet. Though utilizing your techniques, in the meantime, how do I manifest abundance and success in my life when I'm still feeling loss? I don't want to manifest more loss in my life. Thank you.
So, Lucy, send all our love. Totally get it. Totally feel for you. Check out today's show. We aired a brave show today, thanks to Jessica, because we want to share topics that everybody can benefit from, and some are easier to click on than others. And today we did a show on grieving, and I think it can be incredibly helpful for you, because everything comes in its own time, and there is absolutely a time or a season for grieving. And as best you can from an economic point of view, meaning I understand their economic pressures, it's important to give yourself that time and to give yourself permission to grieve, and not to try to rush it or say, why aren't I doing this, that, or the other? Why aren't I improving my finances now? That will come if you can get through this. And I would challenge you to ask for help if you need it to help you get through this time, because we've all been there, and if you need it, ask for it and you will be supported. With that said, you can still dream, Lucy. You can still dream of the future. And as the time feels right, start writing out the dream And part of it's going to come from a letting go of guilt. And that could be through emotion code, that could be from tapping, that could be from journaling about it. But part of it is giving yourself permission to feel good again. And again, I want to give you permission to not feel good yet. This is all grief is it's not just natural, it's important. It's important to grieve. This isn't about positive psychology. I'm not saying rah, 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 fake it till you make it. I'm saying go through the muck and the mire. There's hope on the other side. I'm saying if you need to put on the waders and get into the mud, you do that. If you want to feel, not want to, if you need to feel everything and feel raw and feel hurt and feel angry and scream and say, why did this happen? This is not fair. Anything of the sort. Do it, do it, do it. Get it all out. Journal, journal, journal. Write it all out. Shred it all up. Do a dance around it. Scream, beat up a pillow. Whatever it takes, and give yourself the time. And then give yourself permission to be happy again. If you can, write out what a future looks like. Don't worry about the emotion yet. I don't want to put any pressure on you at all. Not a, what do we call it, a milligram of pressure. But start writing it out if it helps you. Draw it out, dream it out, play with clay it out. Get into that creative process, but take it super kind and gentle on yourself. Just the very act of putting it down on paper, first off, it's brave, Lucy. It's not a little brave. It's really, really brave, imagining a new and different future. And then as the emotions come up, then you will take off and be on fire. But this is the time to be extra loving, kind, and gentle, and so compassionate to yourself. That's what's needed now. Then we can manifest later on. If you can, if you feel up to it, go to healing modalities like EFT tapping. Go to emotion code. Do some of these techniques to help make the process a little bit lighter and a little bit easier. And above and beyond all else, and you may well be doing this, Lucy, talk. Don't keep it inside. Get it out. Share with a few close friends or loved ones if they understand, and get it out. This is not the time to be stoic, though our society teaches us to that. This is not the time to keep it to yourself. This is the time to lean on friends. I'm not sure if it's Paul McCartney or not. Paul McCartney, I just learned yesterday, lost his mom at age 15, and that's where the song Mother Mary came from, or Let It Be. But it is the time to get by with the help of your friends, and that's not a cliche. This is the time to, when you're ready, share with others, talk about it, and draw strength from it. Then when you're ready, you will rock things, Lucy. Everything in its time, though. Be okay with that. And I send all the love and care and compassion in the world your way. There is nothing one can say to make things better except that. Love. That's just it, love. That's just it, Lucy. We send all our love. Who would be next?
This one came in through email, so I'm not sure if it should be anonymous, so I will not mention the name.
Okay.
This person writes, if I'm doing all the work, visualizations, meditations, woo-whoos, etc., but I keep running into roadblocks, is it possible it's not for my highest good?
A brilliant question. This is by, we're going to call this person Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, because it came in from email and we weren't told we have permission to use a name. So the question is, if you're doing all the work and it's still not taking place, is it not for your highest good? Could it not be for our highest good? A couple possibilities. One, it may not be for your highest good. Two, it may not be for your highest good just yet. Three, you need to do some clearing work to get past some emotional blocks. For example, in the past, I certainly had emotional blocks to wealth or to true success. I had a lot of blocks I had to work with and do some clearing work on. So though my intentions were solid, I had to get myself lighter and out of my own way and get rid of the boat anchor for me to be able to move forward. There's another possibility at work here, and that is everything in its time. And I don't mean that as it just may take longer than you expected. I mean that as the twists and turns and struggles to get there may be exactly what you need for your highest good and the highest good of all. So, to share a little story here about how Inspire Nation came about. Years ago, we had a book. We'd written Barefoot Running. It became the #1 best-selling book on Kindle worldwide for over 9 months. And we were offered 10 publishers were in a bidding war for a 2-book deal for us. And it was absolutely amazing. And the #1, at just about the end of the day, the #1 publisher who bid on the book was Hay House. I wanted Hay House so much. Hay House was my dream. Hay House was everything. And it was, woohoo! How does it get any better than this? Then Random House came in with a gazunga deal that was way over the top compared to Hay House, but I still wanted Hay House. But we had a meeting with Hay House, and the energy wasn't quite there. And it was just with the marketing director. Maybe she had had a long day. Maybe she hadn't dove into our book so much yet and didn't quite fully grasp it or get it. Then we had a meeting with Random House, 10 people around a boardroom table, all totally excited, each person saying what they would do, each piece of the puzzle, to help us get this book out, or get these books out and get it out to the world. And they had brought so much energy and excitement to it that even though I wanted to go with Hay House, and I told I'd be working with Wayne Dyer, and that he backed this, he supported us so much, and that it'd be on the You Can Do It tour, which sounded phenomenal to me, it just didn't sound like we would have the support that we would get with Random House. And so at the end of the day, we went with Random House, which just, it was so weird. On the one hand, it tore me apart. Here I am wanting to go with Hay House. On the other hand, energetically, it didn't feel right to go with them. It felt like we have to be with Random House. We went with Random House, and Murphy's Law kicked in. And they didn't know how to handle the handover from a self-published book to them publishing a book. And the deck of cards came down, and book #1 went way down in the rankings and never fully came back up. And book #2 never stood a fighting chance because they didn't put the energy behind it, because book #1 hadn't done well. This isn't a complaint. This was perfect. This was so on path. And for me to say it's perfect means years and years of healing. Because for years after that, I kicked myself, and I kicked myself badly. Why didn't I go with Hay House? Why didn't I know better? How could I have been so stupid? Oh my God, poor me, woe is me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, had we gone with Hay House, and we love Hay House, and we would love to work with Hay House in the future, hint, hint to the universe. Had we gone with Hay House, we might still be in the barefoot running world. I doubt very, very much that we would have this show or any show here today. Instead, because we were kind of stuck in, not purgatory, kind of no man's land, going, where do we go? What do we do? We ended up stumbling our way into success. There was lots of trips, lots of fall, lots of tears and heartache along the way. But it allowed us to start Inspire Nation. It allowed us to start everything we're doing now. It allowed us to be on a trajectory where we have a much greater outreach, I believe, than we ever would have had. This is truly an or something better. And we learned so much along the way. I'm not the person that I was when we put out Barefoot Running. Jessica's not the person that she was when we put that out. So each step along the way that seemed off path, off track, or going, universe, why isn't this working out for me? Am I not doing the work right? Is something off track? It turned out it was perfect to get me exactly where I am here today. So it's worth writing about, journaling about, and touching base with the heart and seeing if you get to hang in there or if you modify track. I truly believe if you keep taking steps forward, as long as the doors aren't slamming closed on you. Big door slams are signs from the universe to go another way. But if it's just dragging along and not going at the pace you'd like, it may be at exactly the pace you need so that you can learn, so that you can grow, so that you can adjust your trajectory and get exactly where you need to go. Beautiful question. Thank you so much for asking, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous. Oh, hi, Lumi. I've got a Lumi staring at me 2 feet to my left. I'd move the cameras, but that would be challenging to say the least.
Okay, our next question is from Shari, watching on YouTube. She writes, glad I was able to tune in. Love you guys. I feel like I'm close to a shift for a better in my life. But the anxiety that I won't see instructions clearly, C is in caps. How do I calm this anxiety down?
Great question, Sherry. Be with Sherry. So, journal. Do automatic writing. Go to hilltops. And whatever you do, meditate, of course, meditate. Whatever you do, put pauses in your day so that you can just be with you. The voices are always there, Sherry. What we get to do is start to turn down the voices up here, which I call KEGO, and dive more into here, what I call K-Heart radio. The quieter they are, the more that you're going to hear these voices, and the clearer they're going to become for you. So instead of rushing forward, this is the opportunity to slow down. The big theme for this week for me has been being a master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, the wise, as Jessica calls him, ancient tortoise. Be the tortoise. Be slow. Take time to listen. I tend to always have a bracelet with me, some bracelet that I can run through beads on them, and I tend to send prayers of love. So I'll be going, I send love, I send love, I send love. What I've done this week is something different. I'm looking at myself going through the beads, and I'm asking myself, how much more slowly can I send love? In other words, how much more slowly can I pause, to put a pause between the notes and a pause between my thoughts? The more I pause, the more my nervous system goes down, the more clearly I can hear the voices in my heart over the voices in my head, and the more clearly things become. With that said, write out your future. Draw it out, imagine it, picture it in your mind's eye, and play with it. The future is about having fun in the here and now. It's about going back to your imagination, going back to your childlike joy, drawing yourself into a special place where anything and everything is possible. Then things become clear. So if you have, for instance, two possibilities. One is becoming an accountant. Another one is starting an investment firm. Strange possibilities, but who knows? Write them out. What would a day-to-day look like? What would a day look like if you're doing accounting? What would a day look like if you're helping somebody with investing? What would the phone calls be like? What would you do at the end of the day? How would you feel on the weekend? What would that look like over the long term? What would it look like 5 or 10 years from now? And draw these things out and play with them and get excited about them. One, you might find, oh wow, this makes me feel great. The other might seem kind of tedious and tiresome over time. That too will be a great indication for you. And then every single morning, I would go to my journal, I would do automatic writing, and I would start to dive deep into who I am, why am I here, and what would make my heart sing or my heart shine. The more you do that, the clearer indication you will get of where you want to go and how you want to get there. Last big theme for me every single week is be loving, kind, and gentle to yourself. Go easy and allow these things to unfold. Do not force them, do not fight it, but instead jump into the flow and see where it guides you, which means being open to the magic of the universe. Brilliant question. Thank you so much.
Next question is from Waldemar, who asks, isn't it overwhelming knowing that you can manifest anything?
That's a great question, Waldemar. Is it overwhelming knowing that you can manifest anything? The cool thing about this is it's a self-regulating system, Waldemar. We can and we can't manifest anything. We can manifest anything if it's for our highest good, the highest good of all, or something better, and if the energy is there. So yes, there's all these different magic techniques and alchemy things that you can do to sort of bring about things that aren't for your highest good or the highest good of all. But it's real hard to do because it's all about the energy that you bring to it. If the energy's there, so we had a brilliant mentor from Colorado who came on the show a few years ago, and he was talking to us about, well, he's a serial entrepreneur, and he was talking about how you could create almost anything and make a lot of money on it. And he used the example of, which is just a really bad example, but it works great in this case, of a wet t-shirt in a bottle. And he said, if I wanted to make $1 million, I could put together some packaging, throw a t-shirt and a squirt bottle into a box, and call it wet t-shirt in a bottle and make $1 million. And he said, but that wouldn't be in alignment with who I am. And the thing is, if something's not in alignment with who you are, universe closes a lot of doors for you. It may get you a certain way down the road. It might even get you to opening that company or starting to do well before all of a sudden a competitor comes in or something happens and it tanks. Because manifestation without that positive energy behind it often sinks and sinks badly. So it's not so much overwhelming because you can do anything. It's only where the energy flows that you will truly be able to manifest anything. So watch for the signs of where the energy is at. If you are an ADD squirrel on crack, like I used to be, I could do this, I could do that, I could do the other thing. Allow yourself to flow a little bit. Build routine in though, and ask yourself every single day, what's for my highest good and the highest good of all. When you do that every single day, certain things become very clear as to where you want to go. Others begin to make absolutely no sense at all. So this is truly a time, Waldemar, of getting to know thyself. If there was one thing I recommend that you do right now, Waldemar, is start with a couple pages and then you can narrow it down. Writing out, I would have you write it as a letter to yourself first. It's a great homework assignment for you, putting my coaching hat on, of what is my mission statement? Who am I? Why am I here? What am I meant to do? What is my mission statement? Come up with a 2-page mission statement, hone it down to a 1-page mission statement, hone it down to a couple paragraphs and then a couple sentences mission statement, and then read that mission statement to yourself each and every day. If you're clear on what your mission is, and it doesn't need to be specifics. For instance, our overarching mission is to help raise the consciousness of the planet. It's not help raise the consciousness of the planet by doing exactly A, B, C, D, E. All of that's going to change. But if you get down your mission statement and write it out each and every day, that becomes your guiding light. That helps you to know I want decision A over decision B. Or when that phone call comes in saying, come on out to California, we've got a great new business, we'd like to bring you in as a partner. And you go, that's awesome, and you go and read your mission statement. and you go, but sorry, I'm going to pass, and you put down the receiver, and then another phone call comes in because you turned that one down just a week or two later, and you read your mission statement and it's exactly what you're looking for. Because you started to know who you are. It's sort of like Oracle of Delphi, know thyself. Once you have that mission statement, anything becomes possible. Brilliant question, Waldemar. Thank you so much for asking.
I think that's all the questions.
Phenomenal. It is perfect timing. I want to thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. Trying to think of a meditation we're going to do. So give me just a couple seconds here. What I'd like everybody to do is just breathe in through the nose, down to the belly, and back up and out through the nose. Breathe in and out. And in and out. As you continue to breathe in and out, I want you to ask yourself one overarching guiding question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Where would you go? Who would you see? What would you do? Who would you become? What chances would you take that you've always dreamed of? What ledge would you step off of, not knowing if there's a bridge on the other side? What would you dare to dream you could be, even if everyone else said it was impossible? Or what's that dream you gave up as a child because everybody said, there's no money at that. You've got to get serious. You've got to buckle down. Or you've got to get a real job. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Just sit with that for a minute or two. Breathe into the possibilities. Can you feel what you might do? Can you see what that would look like? Where you would be? How ecstatic you would be if that took place. What you would hear all around you. Even what you would smell or taste. Picture yourself already there in your mind's eye. This is your future present. This is the present you're beginning to create today. What would you do if you knew, truly knew you couldn't fail. Imagine this with all the emotion, positive energy, and excitement and love you can bring to it. And now I want you to come up with a word that represents it in your mind's eye. It could be yes. It could be success. It could be woohoo. But come up with one word that represents it. And now I want you to take your hands, and as you see yourself there, see yourself with your success, I want you to clap your hands together and imagine and feel and see yourself being there. My word has always been yes. So yes, 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 yes. Feel yourself there with each yes, with each woo-hoo, whatever it has been. Yes, 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 yes. See the success coming your way. Yes, 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 yes. Be in that experience. It's already here. The future is now in this moment. Yes, 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 yes. Woohoo! Be in this experience. Live in this moment. Feel it. Live it. Breathe it. Know it is here for you right now. Yes! And now, as you go forward, each morning and each evening, when you start the day, when you end the day, dream of this dream. Remember, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Then clap your hands together and give it your yes, and bring it into reality. I want to thank you so much for joining us here this evening. If you love the show, if the show is changing your life, come on over, become a member of the Inspire Nation family. Join our Backstage Pass membership. It is your support that keeps the show going. It is your support that helps us bring you these lives and everything that we do. So come on over, become a member of the Inspire Nation family by joining the Backstage Pass membership. On top of that, if this is changing your life, if you found this helpful for you today, then share. Help us grow this show. Help us get this out to the world. And then just a sneak peek or hint, or I'm not sure what the word is for it. It's approximately 2 weeks from now, February 14th, February 15th, we will be launching our automatic writing program. Woohoo! Where we teach you step by step how to do automatic writing, how to go from KEGO to K-Heart, to crank up that inner voice, that inner wisdom, so you can find out even more who you are and where you want to go. We break it down into 30 videos step by step for you to help you hear your inner wisdom for your highest good and the highest good of all. I send all the love in the world your way. Leave your comments, leave your questions. We can't wait to see you next week. Above and beyond anything else, shine bright and ask yourself, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? We send all the love in the world your way.